Welcome to our new series, Ask Dave. We're going to give you video replies to questions that come to us from all over the world from fellow motorcyclists. So rather than email, you're going to get a video reply to your question. We have a question from Lindsay in Perth in Western Australia. In using something to mark how much travel that you get on the fork leg, what should you use? Lindsay mentions grease on the fork tube itself so that it gets cleaned off to the point where travel is obviously going as far as it goes, or as we can see on our Old Faithful Project GSXR, we have a zip tie in place. A zip tie or a rubber O-ring is preferable simply because that will go to the lowest spot and it will move freely up and down with travel. So obviously when you're riding the bike, the zip tie or O-ring will go down to the furthest spot. Now clearly if you put a slight film of grease on the fork itself, you will get the fork cleaned off by both the dust seal and the fork oil seal to the point so it's very clear where you've traveled to. I don't like the grease idea, nothing personal, but grease will aggregate dirt, grit, small rocks. That will get trapped behind the dust seal or in the lip of the dust seal, and will certainly get trapped in the groove in the fork oil seal, and that will eventually start scarring the fork tube itself unless you regularly take apart the forks and clean the seal completely and then clean the fork completely of all the grease. That's a lot of work. So personally, number one choice is just a nice little rubber O-ring. Second choice is a zip tie. And of course, a zip tie you can cut off when you're done anyway and get rid of it. But I personally wouldn't use the grease. Now, one very important point to discuss here briefly. This will tell you how far you have traveled on any given surface that you are riding. However, if you are throwing wheelies and landing them, however expert you are landing them, that is not a true reflection of the road surface that you are riding on, whether that's street, track, or race. So do not take a reading of travel if you wheeler the bike at all. That is completely no good whatsoever, and to me, utterly unacceptable. So if you're going to test and you want to know how much travel you've got, ride the bike on the surface, whatever that is, but do not wheelie.